Thank you for clicking on this channel, on this video. Today I want to talk about your 2021 goals and intentions and how I plan on actually implementing my goals into my daily routine and how I actually plan to make these things happen. It's very common to have New Year's resolutions or goals for the year, but we often lose track of what we want to accomplish. And I think a big part of that is not knowing how to actually just do our goals, like how to get started. I think that's my biggest issue, is just how do I get started. I want to talk about this year's resolutions, goals, intentions, whatever you want to call them, and give you my tips and tricks on how I plan on actually making these things happen. So let's get started. I guess we can start by kind of recapping 2020. It was a year. It came unexpectedly, I guess. The events were traumatic, to say the least. I think we can all agree we could do without doing 2020 all over again. But I will say, if anything, it was a year of change. I know personally for myself, I made the biggest change in where I live. I know a lot of people had to leave their colleges and go back to home with their parents, or leave their jobs and go back with their parents, or, leave where they once lived their lives to go live elsewhere, basically. I think one of the biggest things we can gain from change is perspective, and for myself, I also gained a huge appreciation. It's finally a new year, it's 2021 now, and as much as I've heard people just not be that excited, I think it's time that we leave the heaviness of 2020 in the past and that we move forward with this brand new set of 360 days now. Just, make the best of it. It's a fresh start. Just want to move forward and keep living my life. It's easy to just want to say, I'll wait until this is over, I'll wait till life resumes, but life is still moving forward. So let's take control of the things that we can change and let's make some shit happen. My first resolution, my main goal for this year is to dive deep into my passion and turn it into a career, which, wow, that's a big one. Obviously, it's at the end of last year, I started pursuing a side business of graphic design. I was able to create logos and business cards and graphics for some of my friends that started their own businesses, and I actually had a lot of fun doing that. It's something that I've always been interested in, but had never just done it. So this year I want to continue with that and actually make this passion or this hobby and apply a business mindset to it, which I know is not going to come easy, and it's obviously very personal to me. But if you have a side hustle that you want to fully launch and make big, why not? Let's do it this year. One of the ways that I plan on making this habit for myself is to keep learning. So I want to just sit down and actually mark my calendar, set aside 30 minutes, an hour, and just do a chapter, do as much as I can within that time frame. And just by blocking out that time and just saying, okay, I'm gonna sit down, have my coffee, have my notebook, have my laptop, and just go for it, I'm actually gonna get it done. So the next goal that I have is to do this. It's to post YouTube videos. I, for the longest time, have wanted to start a channel, do YouTube, and it wasn't until recently that I found my voice and kind of what I want to do with this channel. But I bet a lot of you out there have thought the same thing of, I want to do YouTube, but it seems almost so out of reach. And one of the ways that I want to do that is set myself up with a very achievable goal. So my goal right now is to post once a week. I think that's very doable for me. So in order to set myself up to be able to actually achieve the goal of posting once a week, it's just to schedule the time. So I actually have days set on a day where I would like to film, a day where I would like to edit, and then the day that I would like to ideally post. So right now, I would like to post every Wednesday. I think having those benchmarks or those deadlines is super helpful just to actually motivate me and push me to achieve those goals. So my third goal for this year is to get real about my finances. So I'm not the best at finances, but I do definitely want to start saving money. And one of the easiest ways for me to do that, and that I've found as of recently, is using the Digit app. It's this app that takes money straight out of your bank account and puts it into the savings account. And sometimes it could take like 25 cents, 5 cents, like up $10, $5. It takes a random amount of money basically, and it just puts it aside for you. And I want to keep using that. I think that's a great app, a great resource. I want to also be more mindful about saving and taking money out of my paychecks and adding it into a savings account. So again, with the achievable goals, I think for me, something that's very doable is to take 10% out of each paycheck that I get and set it aside for myself. And I know that right now that can be very difficult. I know for myself it's difficult because we're in the pandemic. Sometimes you just don't know when the next paycheck's coming in, but having that mindset of with every paycheck, whether it's the stimulus check or unemployment checks, and just saving some of that money for yourself, for emergencies, for a trip, for whatever, that's gonna help a lot. So I definitely recommend starting with that, as well as getting the Digit app. It's a great way to start saving money without you personally like having to remind yourself to set money aside every month. Another way that I want to help get real with my finances is by tracking my spending. I see a lot of people do this or talk about this, and they're like, just if you track how much you're spending, you're gonna stop spending in those areas. And I think that's very like easier said than done. I've done this before where I will sit down and literally write down how much money I spend in a month, and then I'm like, wow, I spend a lot of money on food, or I spend a lot of money on gas or on random things. But that never actually helps me be like, that means I'm gonna stop eating out. Like, it just never translates for me. But I think a few ways that I can actively start cutting down on the expenses is to get real about it. So I know for myself, my three big areas of spending are always food, subscriptions, like services, and then just like random shopping, if I'm being honest. Food, I eat out a lot. It's easier to just say I'm gonna stop eating out, but one of the ways and one of the tips I have for you is, instead of saying I'm gonna stop eating out, is to just get excited about the food you're gonna make at home. So one of the ways that I do that is I go on Pinterest, or I have cookbooks that just sit on shelves, and I actually go through them and I save recipes that sound delicious that I want to try, and I save them and I just go to the grocery store and actually buy meals, like recipes for the week. I'm gonna spend like $60 on groceries, but that's gonna give me a lot of meals for the week. And since I'm excited to eat the food that I've made at home, it will hopefully lead me to not eat out as much. Think of shifting your thinking in ways like that is really helpful. One of my other problem areas is subscriptions, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm hoping to just like sit down and look at all the subscriptions I have, because I bet it's a lot. Personally, like I have Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max. Like, you know, it's like thinking like, do you really need all three? I also have stuff like, I don't know, subscriptions to Canva and to like Adobe and like all these things, and it's really kind of analyzing any subscriptions I may have and thinking like which ones are actually beneficial, which ones to actually use, and overall which ones are the ones I'm using actively and for long term. And lastly, one of those bad habits of mine is just shopping randomly. I don't know how I'm gonna stop doing this, to be honest, but I think I just have to be real and think about it in shopping for smaller things less, and just saving that money and investing it in like a better piece. Another really big tip that I have for you and that I'm planning to implement is to make a list of items that you want to buy. So not necessarily that you need, but things that you want overall. And I've accumulated a list for myself of items that I want to buy, and I'm just actively like saving money to buy those things. And by not just rushing out and going to Target right now and buying that item, like for example, I really want a Keurig. I've become obsessed with the Keurig. I want one really badly, but I just haven't gone out and bought it, because what if I buy it now, but then like by the end of the month I was over it? And just by simply having that list of items and waiting it out until you actually buy them, I think that's actually going to help reduce spending a lot. I know that's realistically what's going to help me the most. Last but not least, goal number 4 or tip number 4 is setting healthy, doable habits for yourself. I'm kind of going to put a lot of things under this category, and those are the things that we all kind of set ourselves up to do every year. Those are the things like drinking more water, reading more, working out more, eating more healthy. etc. And I think the easiest way for you to actually do those things is to make them habits and integrate them into your daily routines. For example, one of my goals is to read more. For Christmas, I got this phone, like the UV phone sanitizer, and your phone has to sit in there for 10 minutes. I will put my phone in the UV sanitizer, and while it's sitting in there, I will instead read a chapter of my book. And I've just been reading one chapter a night because that's very doable for me. They're just slowly becoming like a part of what I do before going to bed. Another thing I really want to get good about is actually doing my skincare routine in the morning and at night. I used to be really good at this, like without a doubt, I would never miss a day, and then, you know, quarantine. But I really want to get back on track with that. If I just, you know, put my phone away, go do my skincare, read my book, you know, the whole thing, then I've created healthy habit and a healthy routine before going to bed. So I kind of integrated a few of them in there, doing those habits of doing my skincare before bed and reading before bed. It's also helping me reduce my screen time. Setting my phone aside and just doing other activities that are actually beneficial for me and that I want to do for myself is a super easy way to literally kill like 3 birds with 1 stone. I'm decreasing my screen time, I'm reading more, and I'm doing my skincare, taking care of myself. Another one, drinking water. I'm decently okay about drinking water. I'm not the worst at it, but it could be better. And one of the ways that I found helped me increase my water intake is just by having, and now it's nowhere near me, is my hydro flask. I have the 32-ounce hydro flask, and I got the the straw lid. That was a game changer for me. I used to have the 24-ounce hydro flask with like the screw cap. I don't know, for whatever reason, it was just harder for me to drink water, but having the straw lid, there we go. It's so easy to just like reach for it, flip the straw, and just, you know, drink water. If you want to increase your water intake, I definitely recommend invest in a hydro flask or invest in a bottle or something that would motivate you. I know on Amazon they have the water bottles that have like the time frames and like a cute like you've got this or like drink more or whatever. If that's what motivates you, get one of those. But definitely a great way, a great tip, you know, motivator to drink more water. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I hope that you feel inspired, feel more motivated, took something from this video, and I hope that we can all slowly together achieve our goals, make the most out of this year, and just, you know, keep moving forward with our lives, not let the 2021, the ghost of 2020's past, come to haunt us. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a share it with your friends. If you have other friends that are into their goals or self-care, anything like that, send them this video so they can watch it as well. And if you want to see more content similar to this, then go ahead and subscribe, because I'm gonna post every week. It's a goal. Alrighty, my doggy's getting ready to play, so I'll see y'all later. Bye.